I never thought I'd be the one sharing something like this. My name's Elias. I'm 42 now, but back then I was 38, working as a freelance photographer in the remote stretches of northern Minnesota. It's the kind of place where winters swallow everything. Lakes freeze solid, forests turn into silent white mazes, and folks hunker down for months. I'd grown up there, in a small town called Ely, right on the edge of the Boundary Waters Canoe Area wilderness. My brother Jonas was 2 years younger, a mechanic who fixed snowmobiles for a living. We weren't thrill seekers, just locals who knew the trails like our own veins. Snowmobiling was how we unwound, racing across frozen lakes or cutting through pine stands when the world felt too crowded, even though it never really was up there. That winter of 2023 was brutal. One of those seasons where the cold digs in early and doesn't let go. Jonas and I had planned a day trip out to a spot we'd hit since we were kids, a loop around Burntside Lake, then north into the unmarked woods where the trails fade out. No big deal. Pack thermoses of coffee, extra fuel, emergency beacons just in case. We set out mid-morning, skies heavy with that flat gray that promises more snow. Jonas was ahead on his old Arctic Cat, me trailing on a rented Yamaha, camera slung around my neck for shots of the aurora if it showed later. We were laughing over the comms, ribbing each other about who could handle the deeper drifts. About 2 hours in, we veered off the main path into thicker forest. The trees were skeletal, branches sagging under ice, and the wind had died to nothing, leaving this eerie quiet broken only by our engines. Jonas slowed first, his voice crackling in my helmet. "Hey Eli, you seeing this? Looks like a cabin up ahead. Weird, right? Maps don't show anything here." I pulled up beside him, engines idling. Through the flurries, there it was, a small log structure, maybe 20 by 20 feet, tucked against a cluster of evergreens. It wasn't dilapidated like the old trapper shacks you sometimes find. This thing looked maintained, with a tin roof free of snow buildup, a thin wisp of smoke curling from a stone chimney. No tracks leading to it, no sled marks, nothing. We checked our GPS, dead center in a blank spot, miles from any registered land. "Shouldn't be here," I muttered. "Private property, maybe? But who'd build out this far without permits?" Jonas chuckled, but there was an edge to it. "Let's check it out. Could be someone needs help. Smoke means fire. Fire means people." I hesitated, that gut twinge you get when something's off, but he was already gunning forward. We parked maybe 50 yards out, killed the engines and trudged through knee-deep powder. The air smelled wrong, not just pine and frost, but something metallic, like ozone after a storm, even though the sky was calm. Up close, the cabin was even stranger. The logs were hand-hewn, but fresh, like they'd been cut yesterday. No windows, just a single door of rough pine. No knob or latch, just a pull ring. Jonas knocked, called out. No answer. He glanced at me, shrugged, and tugged it open. Warm air rushed out, carrying that same metallic tang, mixed with something earthy, like wet soil. Inside was dim, lit by a kerosene lamp on a table. One room, a cot, a wood stove crackling low, shelves with canned goods, modern labels, nothing antique. But the walls, they were covered in maps. Not topo maps like ours, but hand-drawn ones, yellowed paper pinned up, showing the same woods we were in, but with paths that didn't exist, lakes shifted, and notes scrawled in faded ink. Entry point. Cycle reset. Avoid the echo. "What the hell is this?" Jonas whispered, stepping in. I followed, the door swinging shut behind us with a soft click. The warmth was unnatural, seeping into our suits too fast. He pointed to a journal on the table, opened to a page dated that very day. The handwriting was blocky, unfamiliar. They came again. Saw the sleds. One will stay. My skin prickled. Jonas, this is messed up. Let's go. He laughed it off, flipping pages. Probably some hermit's diary, harmless. But as he read further, his face changed. The entries went back years, describing visitors who found the cabin by accident, always in winter, always vanishing after. Details matched locals we'd heard rumors about. Hikers gone missing, bodies found frozen stiff weeks later, expressions locked in horror, autopsies blaming exposure. One entry mentioned a snowmobiler from 18, found 10 miles east with his eyes wide, mouth open like he'd screamed himself out. That's when the oh shit hit me, subtle but sharp. The lamp's flame flickered, and in the shadow it cast I saw the floorboards weren't even. There was a seam, like a trapdoor, and beneath it, a faint scratching sound, rhythmic, like nails on wood. Not animal, too deliberate, too human. Jonas heard it too. His eyes met mine, wide but steady. Probably a critter, raccoon or something. His voice was calm, but he backed toward the door, hand on the pull ring. I nodded, playing it cool, but my heart was hammering. We didn't bolt, we just turned, casual-like, and yanked the door. It didn't budge. Jonas pulled harder, then shouldered it. Stuck. What the? The scratching grew louder, faster, like whatever was down there knew we knew. Panic clawed up, but we kept it reined in. No yelling, just quick words. Window? No windows. Stove? Maybe vent? Jonas grabbed the poker from the stove, jammed it at the door seam. Wood splintered, but the door held like it was barred from outside. The air thickened, that metallic smell turning sour, and the lamp dimmed, shadows stretching. The scratching stopped, replaced by a low hum, vibrating through the floor. I don't know how long we fought it. Minutes? Felt like hours. Finally, Jonas smashed the poker through a chink in the logs, widening it. Cold air whistled in. We took turns hacking until the hole was big enough to squeeze through. Jonas went first, dropping into the snow. I followed, scraping my arms bloody on the splinters. We ran for the sleds, engines roaring to life, not looking back. The cabin faded into the trees as we sped away, but I swear I heard that hum chasing us, fading into the wind. We made it to the trailhead by dusk, reported it to the sheriff. Hypothermia hallucination, they said. Cabins don't just appear. But Jonas was shaken, wouldn't talk about it, said he'd head home early, needed rest. That night he texted me. Can't sleep, keep hearing scratching under the bed. I brushed it off, told him to crash at my place. He didn't reply. Next morning, he was gone. Truck still in his drive, snowmobile missing. Search parties combed the woods for days. I joined every one, retracing our path. No cabin, just endless white. On the 5th day, they found him, frozen solid, 15 miles from where we'd been, in a clearing with no structures for leagues, no tracks, like he'd been dropped there. His face. God, his face. Eyes bulging, mouth twisted in a silent scream, skin blue and rigid. Autopsy said exposure, but his gear was intact, beacon off. In his glove, clenched tight, a scrap of paper, one of those map pieces, with a note in his own hand. It followed me home. They ruled it a tragic accident, some disorientation from the cold, but I know better. That cabin wasn't a hallucination, it was waiting, like a trap in the snow. And the worst part, lately, when I'm out shooting photos, I catch glimpses in the viewfinder, a shape in the trees, smoke where there shouldn't be. I delete the shots, tell myself it's nothing, but last night, under my floorboards, I heard it. Scratching, slow, deliberate, like it's patient, like it knows I'll come looking. And the door starting to stick.